Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm doing another Q&A video where I take your questions from both Twitter and Snapchat, and I answer them all in this video. Now, in today's Q&A video, we've got a lot of crazy questions to talk about, obviously some of them revolving around rumored future Grand Theft Auto Online updates, as well as a whole lot more cool stuff that we're going to be getting into today. Now, as always, if you want to be featured in the next Q&A, all you have to do is go in the description, follow me on my social medias like Twitter and Snapchat, and anytime I'm looking for Q&A questions, just use the hashtag AskBoss, and you might find yourself featured in the video just like a lot of the people are today. But of course, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump straight into it, and let's get it started. Okay, so our first question today is a rather interesting one. It comes from Matthew Harvey, who tweets at me, will Rockstar ever go back to vehicles with lower, less outrageous price tags in future DLCs? Hashtag AskBoss. So Matthew, I think that's the trend that a lot of people are worried about, is the high pricing that Rockstar has been doing recently. And to be honest with you, I can't see them going much lower because they've already set a precedent for themselves that when they add faster vehicles into the game, they almost have to add a higher price tag to them, which is kind of unfortunate because back in the day, like in 2013 and 2014 and even early 2015, that wasn't always necessarily the case. A new, faster car didn't necessarily have to be more expensive, but now it seems like that is. Now, going forward, as far as future DLCs, there might be a theme that doesn't necessarily involve high-priced sports and supercars, and then you may see a price drop. But also, at the same rate, you got to be looking at the fact that we're not getting supercars or sports cars or something like that. So to answer your question, will Rockstar go back to vehicles with lower, less outrageous price tags in the future? Yes, they totally could, because DLC themes might revolve around not expensive vehicles. They might do like this biker DLC. The bikes might not be that expensive because traditionally the bikes in the game have been less expensive than sports and supercars. However, if there is another DLC going forward that is primarily focused on sports cars, supercars, racing cars, then yeah, I'm going to see them being more expensive if their performance is better. I think that's just the way Rockstar is going to go going forward because they know it generates lots of money and hype and etc. So unfortunately, I think that's the trend that we're going to see in the future. Our next question comes from Blurryface GTA. He tweets at me, if the next update is a Bikers DLC, how many new motorcycles do you think we'll see? Hashtag AskBoss. So that's a good question. The last two DLCs have brought a ton of new vehicles into the game. I think that with the Finance and Felony update, there were 13 in total. I think that with the Cunning Stunts DLC, there was either like 15, 16, or 17, or 18. It was something like that. So it was a crazy, I think it was like 28 combined vehicles, which is absolutely nuts. And I think Rockstar, like in our previous question, has kind of set a precedent for themselves that they have to keep up. Meaning if they only release like 2 or 3 bikes with the update, that would be extremely disappointing. People would be like, what the heck? That's not a lot. So I'm definitely going to say over 10 bikes will be included. I'm not sure if there will be different varieties or different variants of certain ones, but I definitely can tell you that there's going to be 10 plus bikes added with this update. That would be extremely cool, and even if they got somewhere close to like 13, 14, or 15, that would be even better. Up next, we have a question from Steve Crypto Gamer, who tweets at me, for this biker DLC, could we see the return of Johnny and even some biker missions from him like we did for Lamar? Hashtag AskBoss. So when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, that really doesn't make sense. We all know Johnny Klebitz is dead from the campaign. But then it kind of hit me. I was like, wait a minute. Grand Theft Auto Online takes place before GTA 5's campaign. And Steve, that is an unbelievably cool idea. So I think the way that Johnny Klebitz was killed in Grand Theft Auto 5 was extremely not cool for him. He was such an awesome GTA 4 member and character and protagonist. And to see him just go out in not even like a blaze of glory, he literally got his brains crushed in by Trevor. It was just kind of an insult to such a great character. However, he could make a very glorious return in Grand Theft Auto Online because we know for the entirety of GTA 5's campaign, he was living in Sandy Shores or up near like Blaine County in that area. So he's alive and he's been in Los Santos or San Andreas for a while. He just didn't appear until Trevor was obviously hooking up with his girlfriend, and he busts in there and tried to stop that. But we know that didn't end too well for him. So yes, that would be incredible. I would love to see if there were some exclusive biker missions, just like there were lowrider missions for Lamar. And who better of a character to lead them than Johnny Klebitz, the former leader of the Lost MC motorcycle gang. That would be so awesome and would obviously be such a nice welcome addition to the game because he's one of my favorite characters of all time, and he is extremely awesome. So our next question today comes from GTA 5 Daily, who tweets me, if this isn't a downloadable update, what all should we expect to see on Tuesday? And he tags me and hashtag AskBoss. So GTA 5 Daily, you talk about if it's not a downloadable update, what we should expect. I basically made a video on this, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but know that Rockstar doesn't have any new vehicles in the game. There isn't any new weapons. There's nothing like that. The most I could see being added is maybe a new adversary mode, maybe a new Jock Cranley jumpsuit color, so whether it's like a green one or a blue one or whatever the case might be, and then maybe a special t-shirt that Rockstar adds into the game. They've got like 14 or 15 different t-shirts that they're holding on file for special events, so I'm sure that we're going to be seeing some of those soon, so honestly, that would make the most sense to me. And obviously, last but not least, we're going to be seeing the Stunt Race Creator officially added into the game. So that's the stuff that's going to be coming on Tuesday. Don't expect any new vehicles if there isn't a downloadable update. Don't expect any new crazy new clothing or weapons or features or anything like that, because there's only so much Rockstar can do if it is indeed a Tunables DLC and not a formal one that's downloaded to your console or your PC. Our next question comes from Joseph, who tweets at me, do you think they'll add bike-specific garages in the Biker DLC, i.e. 10-car garages, but 2 bikes per spot? Hashtag AskBoss. Now, you know what I thought of, Joseph? It would be cool if Rockstar added a garage that was the same size the one we had, but it could fit 20 bikes, and it was a bike-only garage, because obviously all the bikes are relatively small. They're not wide, they're not really big or long, which means you could definitely fit more than 10 bikes in a garage. I don't know if you've ever seen a 10-car garage that's filled up with just bikes, but it looks almost empty, and like it needs to be more filled up. So I really hope that there's a special function for either the way bikes are placed in the garage or a garage only made for bikes. That way you could store all the bikes or motorcycles you have in the game in one garage, and you could store maybe 15 or 20 of them as compared to 10, because they do only take up such a small amount of space. So Joseph, that's a really good idea. I think that would be super cool if there was a bike-only garage that was more geared towards the motorcycles in terms of space, and maybe even towards look as well. Maybe if it was a little bit more grungier or sporty, that could be super neat. Our next question today comes from Thunda, who tweets at me, do you think that the biker faction features that were originally supposed to be in GTA will be used for the biker DLC? Hashtag AskBoss. So I touched on this in a video the other day, talking about how Grand Theft Auto Online was supposed to work, and it basically revolved around a few factions like the Lost MC, the Vagos, and the Cops. And unfortunately, I think the days of that ever being included in Grand Theft Auto Online are long gone. I think Rockstar's new plan for this biker update is going to be revolving around the same system that the CEO and the VIP systems work, and I think that you'll be able to join a quote-unquote biker gang, but it won't actually be like a gang that you can join that gives you like special association in the world. I think the faction feature is long gone, something that was originally made for 2010 when they were developing Grand Theft Auto Online, and sadly, as cool as it is, I do not think it will be making a return with this biker update, even though that would be, like I said, such an incredible idea. Okay, our next question today comes from Skylar Roscoe, who tweets at me, what are your thoughts on this? Hashtag AskBoss. And that is actually this photo right here. So you can see it's a very, very interesting picture, to say the least. It's like a plane going over what looks to be like a billboard for Vice City. And a lot of people were asking what this is, where it came from, what does this mean? And it comes from a user that we've talked about a little bit previously on the channel, XXII. It's his Twitter account that actually tweeted out this image. Now, I'm almost positive that this is a photo of a mod or something like that, and that it really isn't meant to be anything. He does this all the time on his Twitter account, and I don't think he means anything malicious by it. He's just tweeting out these photos. This is another one that he decided to tweet out as well. It's like a Pfister design tower. So I think he's playing around with mods. I'm not sure if this is even in GTA, but whatever it is, it isn't any indication that the next game is either going to be Vice City or will be in a different city. It didn't come from Rockstar. It didn't come from like a leaked source or anything like that. It was just XXII playing around with some mods, and it seems as if he created this image right here. But a lot of you guys were asking me about it. A lot of you were curious as well. So what do I think of this image? It's obviously cool. It sounds awesome. But I don't think, like I said, it's any indication that Vice City is going to be coming back to the Grand Theft Auto series anytime soon. As much as I would love that, because Vice City was one of my favorite settings of all time. Our next question comes from Shinji, who tweets at me, do you think the next biker DLC will cover all areas of motorcycles from choppers to super bikes? Hashtag AskBoss. Yes, I do, Shinji, because I don't think Rockstar wants to ignore a group of the population for the biker DLC. I think that this biker DLC is going to include a lot of different bikes, and that's why I said there was going to be so many earlier in the episode. So I think there's going to be, 2 or 3 choppers, 2 or 3 super bikes, 1 or 2 cruisers, maybe, a crazy Benny's sports bike or something like that. I'm really not too sure, but I would be hard pressed to find that Rockstar would only do super bikes or only do choppers or only do cruisers. I think that would eliminate too many people who would become disinterested in this DLC. So like I said, I think there's going to be a ton of bikes, and as you mentioned, I do think Rockstar is going to cover a ton of ground by adding lots of many types of bikes, which is going to be awesome. Our next question today comes from Mr. Duck AF, who tweets me, when do you think the biker DLC is going to be released? Hashtag AskBoss. So what Yan has told the community is that the biker DLC is going to release in August. He said that's, subject to change. I'm kind of skeptical about that. I think August is a little bit early, especially because in just a few short days, the Stunt Race Creator is coming out. However, August is a long month, and Rockstar is releasing the Stunt Race Creator at the very beginning, on obviously August 2nd. So that means at the end of the month, anything is still possible. Do I think there is a slight chance it gets pushed back to maybe early September? Yes, and honestly, to me, that sounds a little bit more plausible. But if it comes out in August, who cares? It means it's just coming out quicker, and that's more content for us in online. All right, and our final question today comes from Zalafa, who tweets at me, hey, Mr. Boss for the win. How much amount of money would we need to the rumored next update, or is it too early yet to tell? Hashtag AskBoss. So I'm assuming he's talking about the biker DLC. How much money is it going to cost? How much are we going to need? And it is way too early to tell. We obviously don't have any details on this at all. We don't know the types of bikes, what's going to be going on, the types of clothing, the types of weapons, if there is going to be any, the style of the update, if there's going to be any new things like safe houses or clubhouses. So it is way too early to tell. Is it going to be more expensive than the Finance and Felony and the Cunning Stunts DLC? I'd be hard pressed to say that it would, because those were pretty pricey DLCs. But nonetheless, I still think it's going to be a lot of money to get everything. So you might want to start saving up now so that by the time it does come out, you're good and ready to go. But anyways, that's all the questions that we're going to be tackling in this week's Q&A video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. As always, if you want to get involved in the next one, all you have to do is go down in the description. Follow me on Twitter and all my other social medias on there and use the hashtag AskBoss whenever I'm looking for questions like this. If you did go on to enjoy this video, however, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.